Stonehenge is more a place of mystery than history. One mystery concerns the bluestones, which it's claimed originated in the Preseli Hills in Pembrokeshire. Until recently, little work had been done to establish where the stones came from or why. Now, as a result of a team effort between leading archaeologists and the Royal Commission, we know not only the precise outcrop, but have evidence of one of the earliest settlements yet discovered in the UK. Do the answers to the mystery of Stonehenge lie in Wales? The Preseli Hills in Pembrokeshire are like a huge outdoor Stone Age monument, rich in remains, like the burial chamber at Pentre Ifan, which was built 5,500 years ago. The area was clearly of considerable importance to Neolithic communities. For many years, Preseli has been linked to Stonehenge through its 80 bluestone monoliths, or standing stones. These could only have come from West Wales. They were the first to be erected at Stonehenge and have held a central position ever since, despite later periods of rebuilding. Some say they were left on Salisbury Plain by ice sheets, but the main theory is that they were carried there by Neolithic people. Now the Preseli Hills have yielded some of their secrets, thanks to Welsh archaeologist Professor Jeff Wainwright and his colleagues working with the Royal Commission. They targeted a Preseli peak known as Carn Meini. It's like an outdoor factory, where the evidence of quarrying 5,000 years ago lies all around, as though the Stone Age workers had just clocked off.
This is one of the great sites in the country because of its sense of place. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife. It is just as prehistoric man would have abandoned it 4,500 years ago. And lying at our feet is one of the stones that they dropped on their way to Stonehenge. They weren't quarried, they were just pulled out of the rock face and were then ready for transportation and incorporation into a monument. And those stones that formed the first Stonehenge are only found in this part of Wales. Have you noticed at Stonehenge when you're there how the stones change colour with the light?
They do, yes, yes, you know, all the time. It's exactly the same.
These do exactly the same.
Yeah.
One of the puzzles of Stonehenge is why the bluestones are so called when they appear grey. It's a mystery that's about to be solved.
Now, Jeff, it's not often you see freshly broken, unweathered bluestone anymore, is it? And you can really see the colour revealed.
There we have the blue dolerite, nice and fresh, and in the middle of it, these white spots, the feldspars and the quartzes, which give it that absolutely unique spotted appearance. But the thing is, you can see around it, there is this weathering layer of iron salt, which has covered up this wonderful fresh appearance. And hence, to look at them, they look quite grey and nondescript.
It changes our view of how the inner rings at Stonehenge would have appeared when fresh.
Yes.
Not grey, but
yes,
blue.
Absolutely fresh. When we excavated at Stonehenge last April, we uncovered the stump of a bluestone. Its surface was just like that because it was unweathered. We had just taken the soil away from it.
How could the bluestones have been transported 130 miles before the wheel was invented?
To me, this doesn't seem like a very large stone to move, to get moving.
No.
If we're considering getting this from here to Wiltshire.
Quite so. Society at this time, 2500 BC, it was quite sophisticated. They knew how to get things done.
Yes.
You know, they knew how to move weights around like this. Secondly, it's quite common for monuments to be built of stone from elsewhere.
Yes.
So this happens in Ireland, in Brittany and in Wales.
Yes.
And certainly at Stonehenge.
Getting the right stones for the right job.
Exactly. And thirdly, traditionally, the means of transporting heavy weights, that's stones or logs or whatever, in rural Highland Wales was by sledge. A sledge with a single yoke strapped onto the side of a horse. The River Cleddau is just down here at the foot of Carn Meini. And it would have been no problem at all to have sledged the stones down to the River Cleddau, put them on rafts, down to the Bristol Channel.
And off you go.
And off you go. The rock must have been very, very special to persuade them to take it all the way to Stonehenge. And that led me to wonder whether the reason why Stonehenge was built lies not in Wiltshire itself, but where the stones came from. Why did they bring those blue stones all the way to Stonehenge?
This site may not look much to the untrained eye, but it's one of the most significant finds in Stone Age studies. If the blue stones did come from Carn Meini, then there must have been a settlement nearby. But where? A few years ago, Toby detected a possible settlement at Bank D, a few miles away. When Jeff and his colleagues excavated the site, they uncovered one of the earliest settlements ever found in Wales.
Where I'm standing now is the preserved piece of the bank of the enclosure that was built in 3500 BC. And the stones lying around are all part of the bank. And so it was quite a solid defence. It was quite an elaborate structure.
Because there aren't very many of these, even in the United Kingdom, are there? There are 80 odd. 6 possible or probable ones in the whole of Wales, of which this is the only one dated.
Absolutely.
And the only one with any upstanding remains left. The rest are ploughed flat.
And
so it's an incredibly rare site.
That's right. But we know from the ditch, because we had a very good sequence of radiocarbon dates in the ditch, and we know that that ditch was cleared out and the bank reconstituted in about 2500 BC, which is just about the time that the blue stones were being transported to build the first Stonehenge.
A few years ago, Professor Wainwright had a eureka moment of insight into the Stonehenge bluestones.
6 years ago, I was watching a television program about Stonehenge, and there were a number of archaeologists wondering about why Stonehenge, why was it built? And it was fairly apparent to me that they weren't going to get the answer at Stonehenge itself, but the answer lay in the question, why were the blue stones brought to build the first Stonehenge? And our answer is because, in conjunction with water, which is the important thing, they are considered to have medicinal properties. It suddenly came to us one day that around the base of the Carn Meini crags, there are about 18 springs, and a number of them are known up to the present day as having medicinal powers. And there is a tradition that stones from Carn Meini are used in the healing process. And returning to Stonehenge, people went to the area to be cured. So Stonehenge, if you like, and people say this in a rather sneering way, but I don't see it as I don't mind that at all. But Stonehenge was a prehistoric Lourdes. People went there to be cured.
So it's the healing power of Preseli which unlocks the mystery of Stonehenge.